everybody. I asked and you said that you wanted to learn how to make an envelope pillow. So I'm going to give you a tutorial on how to easily change out your pillow decor by doing what is called an envelope pillow cover. The beauty of it is it doesn't require a zipper, it's just a few simple stitches, and you can update any pillow that you have with a new cover in a matter of minutes. Saving you lots of money, and you don't have to worry about storage on storing those seasonal pillow covers when you're not, or seasonal pillows when you're not using them. So the first things first is you pick your fabric. I personally like a fabric that's not super slippery, that's something that's durable, that can be washed. It is recommended that you wash your fabric prior to doing anything with it. That way if it's gonna shrink, it'll shrink beforehand. I chose this pattern. I want to update my Christmas decor, and so it's I really like it because it's got the colors of Christmas. And the pattern is going to make it super easy for me to line up so that everything matches when I put the pillow in for the finished product. So the first things first is you're going to cut your fabric the size of the pillow that you are wanting to use. And I recommend 1 inch on each side of the pillow, so that way the pillow fits in there snugly without being too tight or too loose. And then you are going to lay the pillow on, and this first piece that you're going to throw over is going to be the inside of the pillow, so that when you finish everything and you flip it right side out, this is actually going to be covering a majority of the pillow. And then you're going to pull the rest of it to make sure that everything lines up and that that pillow is in there nice and secure. And then you don't have to worry about the pillow showing when the pillow cover is finished. What I also recommend doing is the edge that's going to be on the inside of the pillow. I recommend running what is a zigzag stitch. What that's going to do is it's going to prevent the fabric from fraying, so that when you do need to wash it, it won't come unraveled, because you don't want it to get gross and not be usable, right? So this inside edge that nobody's going to see, you're going to run a zigzag stitch. Then on the part which is going to be the outside of the envelope, I actually measured out 1/2 inch. I folded it over and I ironed it, and then I folded it over again to create this finished seam. Now I also have run a straight stitch down this line to secure it in place. So you have your fabric, you fold over 1/2 inch, iron it, fold over 1/2 inch again, iron it, and then you're left, as you can see, the inside. So now this is nice and straight, and then I ran a straight edge along this so that it's locked into place. And now you have your finished edge or finished part of the envelope pillow. When you pin the pillow cover, you want to make sure that you pin it so that this finished part is actually touching the pillow. And this will be really important so that when you go to flip the pillow inside or right side out, that finished edge is actually what's going to be seen and not the unfinished edge. So I just put this on here. So we're going to pretend that this is going to be what you're going to actually see when you flip it. Because when you sew, you want to sew so the right sides of the fabric are touching. With this particular material, there is no right or wrong side, so it can be a little bit tricky. But I know this is going to be the finished edge that I want, but it needs to be on the inside, touching the actual pillow. It'll make more sense when I flip it the right way. So once I get the pillow, this seam where I want it, then I'm going to take this unfinished edge that I ran the zigzag on, and I'm going to bring it up, and I'm going to match the pattern, and then I'm going to pin in place. And I pin it with the pillow in first, just so I can make sure that everything is going to line up. I'll take the pillow out, and then I will pin the other side. I'm just going to do a couple little pins just to make sure. And then I'll pin the rest. Pull this out. Now you want to make sure that you smooth everything out and that everything lines up. And then throw in a few more pins. What the pins are gonna do is gonna hold the material in place so that when you are actually sewing the material, everything is caught inside. Then I'll flip it around and I'll pin this other side so that we can sew. Now, when you stick your material onto the sewing machine, you want to make sure that the pins are facing the inside of the sewing machine, and the majority of the fabric is going to be on the outside of the sewing machine. And I'll show you what I mean when I get it all ready to go. All right, there's a couple schools of thought about the pins and sewing. Some people will say do not sew over the pins just because you don't want to dull your sewing machine needle. I personally sew over them. I have no problem with that. Before you start sewing, before you touch anything, always make sure that you have your foot off the pedal so that while you're moving around the needle, you're not gonna risk running your finger underneath the sewing machine needle. So I line it up with the edge of the fabric, and I know you probably can't see this. The edge of the fabric is just touching the outside of the foot of the sewing machine, and I'm gonna lower it down. I've chosen a straight stitch. On my sewing machine, I have a dial where I can turn it to go to whatever. If I wanna do the zigzag or if I wanna do a straight stitch, you can adjust the size of your stitch on here. Whatever, it's personal preference. It doesn't have to be a super fancy machine. Now, when I start sewing, I'm gonna go forward a little bit, and then I have a button that'll actually take it back a little bit. What that does is it's gonna lock the thread in place so that it doesn't come unsewn when you wash it in with wear. Make sure you keep your hands out of the way, and you're just gonna guide the material through. Again, when you get to the edge, you're gonna run it backwards and forwards to really make sure that you lock in that stitch. Also, if you ever need to stop mid-sew to adjust anything, make sure that your needle is inside the material so that you don't lose your line. And then I'm just gonna go ahead and remove these pins so that they're not in the way. Also, you don't wanna lose any pins on the floor. That could be really dangerous. Then we're gonna flip it around and we're gonna sew the other side. So see what I mean where when I pinned it so the head of the pin is actually facing towards this side of the machine. That way the majority of the material is going this way. It's a lot easier to guide through when you're sewing. I'm gonna lower it down. This particular one has a little bit of a fray on the edge because it's the end of the piece of fabric when they made it for the manufacturer. So the stitching is a little bit tighter, so I didn't have to worry about necessarily running a zigzag on that side, but I am gonna lock in a few stitches just to make sure that it doesn't come unsewn. In this particular situation, I have a unruly pin. I'm gonna go ahead and remove it. The needle is in, my foot is off the pedal. I'm actually gonna move this up. We're gonna back it up just a little bit. I'm gonna back it in, go forward and back it in a little bit just to lock in that stitch. Again, moving around the needle, my foot is off the pedal. Pulling it out, cutting it. Removing all the pins to make sure that they are secure in my little tomato. All right, so all the pins are out. Now it's time to turn everything inside the right way. So this unfinished edge that I put in the zigzag on is actually gonna be on the inside of the pillow. It's what's gonna be touching the pillow. We're gonna flip everything around. And you're gonna poke your finger through the corners so they're nice and tight. And then where this outside edge is, we're going to flip it around. Again, work it around. Get your finger into the other corner. So when you finish, that finished edge is on the outside, the unfinished edge is on the inside. You have your pocket where your pillow is gonna go in. And then you're just gonna feed your pillow into the space. I'm gonna move this over so I'm more in the middle of the camera so you can see. Now, this wouldn't take me as long, but explaining things takes a little bit of time, which is perfectly fine. It's super simple and easy to create a new pillow cover to give yourself a new look. I'm gonna poke your pillow in there, give everything a nice tuck. So this envelope part is gonna be the back of the pillow. And of course, this is like wrangling a toddler. So there you have it. You have a brand new pillow cover for your pillow to update your decor. It goes right into this little slot. And it costs, I wanna say, with this, I think it was like $10 a yard, and I got 2 yards of it, so $20. And I'm going to end up being able to get at least 4 pillows out of this material. So I know to even buy some pillows at places like Home Goods, it's like 20 bucks per pillow. So already I've saved a ton of money. So there you have it, a brand new way to update pillows that you already have using the envelope pillow cover method. I hope you found that helpful. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, don't forget to leave them. I will get back to you. And if you have any other suggestions or any other things that you want to learn, don't hesitate to tell me, because I am always willing to help out and teach you guys some new skills. I hope you guys have a great day. Thank you